Today, I'm going to show you the 4 things that I've done to increase my focus tenfold while programming. Number 1 is optimizing your physical health. Getting enough sleep is extremely important. Most people really do need between 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Occasionally on the internet, you see these people who only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night and apparently function really well throughout the day. I just don't think that's the case. I think most people really do need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And I think if you don't give your body enough sleep that it needs, you're not going to be able to function well and you're going to have brain fog. What you eat is also super important too. I tend to focus on high protein foods and foods with complex carbohydrates. I try to stay away from sugar. Occasionally, it's fun to have sugar, but if you have too much of it, you're going to crash. And generally, this can happen. You can have a crash in the morning, and the afternoon, and the evening if you're always eating sugar. And this is not good, especially for mental clarity. One thing that I think people downplay a lot is not drinking enough water. So you need to be drinking a lot of water. I find that when I drink water, I feel pretty good, I'm energetic, and I also reduce the amount of headaches I get, and this can dramatically improve my focus throughout the day. If I get a little bit of exercise in the day, whether it's 15 minutes to an hour, I find that this also helps dramatically improve my focus. If I go for a 15-minute run in the morning, I feel focused throughout the morning and into the afternoon. If I go for a workout after work, I feel pretty focused the next day. So I find that this is a really good thing to implement, whether it's 4 to 5 days a week or a little bit more. That's been really, really helpful in keeping me focused and feeling good. Number 2 is mental optimization. So I find that for mental health, it's really, really good to meditate. I feel like in 2019, there are a million things vying for our attention. We're always getting notifications on our phone. There's endless noise. And sometimes I just want to shut off the noise. And I find that in the morning, if I meditate for 10 to 15 minutes, this really helps sets my day up pretty productively. Another tip is if I go on social media before meditating, it is a lot harder for me to focus on meditating for that 10 to 15 minutes. So I try to do it first thing when I wake up and I put social media away, I don't touch it, and I meditate. I found that unguided meditation does not work for me. That's just focusing on your breath without any guidance. I like to use an app like Calm or Headspace, and Calm has really helped me stay focused, and I really like the stories that they provide in their guided meditations. Another thing I find super helpful is after work, just going and unplugging for 10 to 15 minutes. And I don't use any technology. I pretty much just lie in my bed and stare at the ceiling. And I find that this really helps turn off my brain, which has been active and stimulated all day. And really just taking time to rest and get away from all the noise has been really important to me. Number 3 is setting up your environment for success. So the first thing I like to focus on is ergonomics. I find that sitting all day is not something that works for me. I had a handful of jobs in the past where I sat all day and I felt horrible. My back really hurt. So luckily, currently I have a standing desk at home and I also have a standing desk at work. And this has dramatically improved my posture. And especially when coding, you want to hunch over all the time. With a standing desk, luckily, if you focus on standing up straight and occasionally recorrect your posture, this makes me feel so much better throughout the day. You can also get a pad that you can stand on, but usually I don't really use that. I just have a regular standing desk, slightly bend my knees, and try to get a monitor that's relatively good on eye level. I've also found that the Pomodoro technique is really, really helpful in making me stay focused and also forcing me to take breaks occasionally. So I usually set a 25-minute interval of work and a 5-minute break, and after 4 sets of work and break, I take a little bit of a longer break. And then I usually take lunch halfway through the day. I take about 30 minutes to 45 minutes just to get away from the desk and get outside and get some sun. So I find that taking breaks, going up and getting water every 25 minutes and taking 5 minutes to do whatever I want is really helpful because then I can sit down for 25 minutes and purely focus. I think another really important thing for your environment is putting your phone away. So I find even if I have my phone on my desk in my peripheral field of vision, I get really distracted by it. So I just have to put it completely away. I put it in my backpack. I get it out of my area. I turn it on silent. Sometimes I even turn it off if there's a day where I've just gotten so many notifications and I have the addiction to want to be on my phone. I found that putting it away is extremely effective. Another strategy I use is I use a Chrome extension to block websites and also YouTube occasionally, and any other things that could be addicting or where I could waste a lot of time in. So I found that this Chrome extension, Stay Focused, is really effective for that. You can set an amount of time, you can put sites on a blacklist, and it won't let you go on that site. Now, number 4 is focusing on your own style of learning and figuring out what works for you and catering your work toward that. So I found throughout my work, if I figure out a plan of attack while going in to write some code, I write it out in a document, spend a little more time up front not coding, and that ends up saving me time in the end, and I can stay exactly focused on what I need to do. Lastly, if I'm learning something, I find that for me, active learning is really, really important. So if I'm doing a tutorial, I don't just watch a video, I split the screen side by side and I code along with the tutorial and I try to do parts of it without following the video. I find that anything like this where you're learning, it's really, really important to do active learning and not passive learning. This helps keep me much more engaged and focused and not very bored. And I think this is key to staying engaged. So this is something that I've been doing for 2 years now. I've been really focused on increasing my focus over time. I found that when I first started coding, it was really, really hard to focus. And back in college, I always struggled with focusing. And now I've really made a commitment to getting better at this. And I found that it has helped a lot. And I think focusing on these 4 things, the physical aspect, the mental aspect, building your environment and figuring out your learning style and catering your learning toward that is really, really effective. I'm not perfect by any means. I still make mistakes all the time, but I have improved dramatically over the past few years by just focusing on these 4 things. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and shoot a comment down below with things that have worked, that have improved your focus, and also things that haven't worked and things that trip you up. I also have another video on how to enter the software industry as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. And using these tips, you can definitely apply that toward your journey into becoming a software engineer. Until next time.